haven't done any YouTube lives on learning Japanese for a while, but I've just started doing some more GenkiJapan.net songs. And so I thought I'd do a quick live and show you how to use them and stuff, because a lot of people have been asking about new songs and things. But also, it's awesome to hear how so many of you, if you go through the comments on the videos here for learning Japanese, it's amazing how many people actually learned Japanese using these songs a long time ago. And now they come back and they say, thank you for it. So that's awesome to hear. So thank you very much. So yeah, so these are the GenkiJapan.net songs for learning Japanese. If you look through the feed, the playlist I've got here, you see all the different songs. The most famous one is the Japanese numbers song, which is got like 4 million views or something crazy like that. It's crazy. And then we've got new songs coming up. Like last year, I did new songs for learning about sushi, different types of sushi we did. So you can learn that. So that video's up now. Last year, we also did one on Japanese fruits, because for some reason in Japan, like fruits are really, really popular. So there's that one as well. We also did a greetings one if you want to learn how to say, oh, no, that's Hajimashite one, isn't it? If you want to do your self-introduction, because there's a song about that as well that I did last year. Because in Japan, when people always ask you to do a jikoshokai, they say, do your self-introduction. It's very simple. You just say, Hajimemashite, if it's the first time meeting them. You say your name plus desu, Hajimemashite, Richardo desu. And then yoroshiku onegaishimasu, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, which just means, well, it means, what does it actually mean? Yoroshiku onegaishimasu is you say it at the end of everything. It just means, please help me. I look forward to working together, stuff like that. It's a useful phrase. But anyway, so there's a song for that up there now. There's the fruits one last year. There's a sushi one. Later this afternoon, I've got a Japanese food song coming up, which is pretty cool. And also, if you look, last week we did a new version of the Japanese numbers song, just to make it a bit more funky with slightly better graphics for 2026, which is pretty cool. But remember, if you're learning Japanese, first, a few things to learn. Number one is Japanese is easy. It's one of the easiest languages that you can learn to speak. The only tricky thing is just learning how to read and write it. Yeah, that's the thing that takes time. But actually, speaking Japanese is really, really easy. It's one of the easiest languages there is. So don't be put off by people saying, "Oh, it's really hard" and stuff. And if you look through the video here, you'll see lots of videos of me speaking Japanese, doing Japanese workshops and stuff. Obviously, I've been in Japanese books and things like that. So you can tell I'm speak Japanese and stuff. So yeah, you just have to practice it. There's just 2 steps to learning any language, and it's the same with Japanese. And you just have to 2 things to take into account. Number one is the input. So you want to fill your brain with lots and lots of high quality input every day. So that can be podcasts, TV, Netflix, whatever it is. The key with the input stage is it's got to be at your level plus just a little bit higher. So if it's actually below your level, you're not actually learning anything. And if it's too far above your level, it's like super mega complicated, I don't know, crime dramas or really crazy anime or something. Then if it's too high up, you're not learning anything either, and you tend to lose motivation. So you want to make sure that when you're doing the input stage, you're choosing things that are at your level plus just a little bit, just to keep you growing and learning more each day. Because if you only listen to things that you 100% understand, you won't grow, because it's like, that's all you do. But sometimes you think, oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? But not too many crazy things, but just a few things that'll make it easier for you. So that's the input. And with the songs on the channel here, just play the song round and around and around and around and around and around, and just get it brainwashed in your head. So that's why we use songs for learning Japanese. We do it for all the languages, like Genki English as well and other things. But we use the song because if you can remember your favorite, songs from the radio, they just stay in your head all day. Or your favorite songs from TikTok or YouTube, aren't we now? Then they stay in your head all day. And that's exactly the same thing we do with the Japanese. So just play the songs around and around and around and around and around and around and around 1,000,000 times. Hey, that gets me 1,000,000 views. I might earn $1 from that. But it helps you more because you will have that language imprinted in your brain. And then later on, when you come to use it in the output stage, it will be there and it will just instantly pop into your mind. You won't have to think about it. Okay. So, I mean, that's one of the things is, so this is the GenkiJapan.net channel. Okay. So this is, I started off, because the company I started is called Genki English. It's a company which I started in Japan, and we were doing, trying to help Japanese people learn English. But then lots of other people were saying, why don't you use the same ideas for teaching Japanese? So that's where I came up with the GenkiJapan.net channel here a long time ago. I think it's 19 years old, isn't it? But we're different from separately. So we're GenkiJapan.net, yeah? Or if you go to GenkiJapanese.com, you can find the paid for course. But separately, the Japan Times came up with a course and they called their thing just Genki on its own, which is like a bit confusing, nothing to do with me. So I don't believe in textbooks. If you want to learn from a textbook, I don't think that's how you get good at a language. If you want to study the language later on, maybe, but actually learning a language is just input and then output. So for the input, just play the songs on the playlist. If you look here on this channel here, there's a Japanese songs playlist. Just play them around and around and around and around. And don't play the songs until you remember them. Play them until you can't forget them. That's the key. So don't play them around and say, oh, I know it now. It's like you play them around and around so many times that you just can't forget. It's just stuck in your brain all day. And that language will be stuck there as well. So then you got the input, and then the second stage of language learning is the output. So you need to find somewhere to practice the language. Now, luckily now you've got a device. You're watching me online now. So you've got a device. You can contact people and chat with them in the language. Now, the slight problem is if you're chatting, say if you're in America or you're in another country and you're chatting with someone else who's learning Japanese, you might have a language in common. You might both speak English, so that makes it difficult because you flip back into English. Or if you didn't speak it, your Japanese might not be good enough to communicate as Japanese as the common language. I know I find it complicated as well. Like when, because my Japanese is very sort of countryside Japanese. Like I learned in Ehime and Shikoku. I can be nice and formal when I have to do, but my regular Japanese is pretty countryside Japanese. So I find it difficult to talk to other foreigners in Japanese because they've usually learnt it either in Tokyo or in textbooks and things like that. So I could chat to any Japanese people, but I find it a bit difficult to chat to foreigners in Japanese. So what I would recommend is for the output stage is instead of speaking to instead of speaking to people who are learning Japanese, I would try and speak with real Japanese people. Now, the way you do that is by finding a hobby, something you love, whether it be food or anime or science or soccer or guitar or something. Try and get in communities where there are other Japanese people there, and then do a language exchange. Just saying, can we meet up once a week on Zoom or whatever? And we'll speak 30 minutes in English. I'll help you speak English because all Japanese people want to learn English. And then the other 30 minutes, can you help speak Japanese? And we'll speak Japanese and you help me learn Japanese. And if you do it that way, a language exchange, it's by far the best way to do it because it's free and it's real language. You're learning from a real Japanese person rather than from someone else who's learned how to do the language. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the input stage, get as much high quality Japanese input into your brain as you can. And then the output stage is practice speaking as much as you can. I have seen people in the past, and they actually do these language exchanges. They get in all these different communities and things, and then they do a different one each day. So like on Monday, they'll speak with one Japanese friend, and Tuesday, another one. So every day they're actually getting practice. And the cool thing about doing things every day is if you speak Japanese every day, you will get really good really quickly. Because if you only do it once a week, you forget it really easily. Yeah, it's called the spaced repetition. So you after a day you forget it all, but if you do a quick review, you learn it, and then you forget it and you go up. Yeah. So if you learn about spaced repetition on YouTube, yeah. So I recommend doing that if you can. Try and get more than one a week if you can. Or remember, if there are local Japanese people where you live now, ask them as well and try and do a language exchange or something like that. But basically, very simple. Learning a language, learning Japanese is just input and output. Yeah, that's how I got fluent in Japanese. Well, that and setting crazy goals. Like putting yourself into situations where you have to speak the language really helps. Like I was invited onto NHK TV every week, and it was supposed to be just for a simple sort of stuff, but every week it started getting more and more complicated, talking about like politics and all this stuff, and I was like, what? And I was like, no idea what's going on. So setting crazy goals for yourself as well. Also, I was teaching NASA science projects. We were doing some of the Genki science stuff, and I was teaching, and I was supposed to teach NASA science projects in English, and none of the students could do it, so I had to learn how to teach NASA science projects in Japanese, which was a little bit crazy. But you know, putting yourself in a situation like that where you have to speak it is really useful. But the main thing is input and then output. And then remember that Japanese is one of the easiest languages there is to speak. Because there are no tones. Well, there are tones in Japanese, but they're not as strict. So, for example, if you're saying it's oishi or something like that, it's oishi. It's like means nice. If it's a question, it's like oishi. Is it nice? Right? Yeah. Or if it's like really really nice, oishi desu yo ne. Mo monosugoku oishii da na. The intonations you do it that way, but it doesn't actually. It's not like Chinese where you have all these official tones and all this sort of stuff. So you don't need to worry about that. And then there's one extra tip is if you do want to invest a little bit, is all the songs on all my Japanese songs are free here on the channel. You can see all my songs are on here. We make money. I make money from the Genki English program. We sell the Genki English program to Japanese people or all around the world, and they learn English from that, which is cool. Which means all the songs are all free on the channel here. And if you do want the posters, there is if you want the posters as well, you can put those up around your room. I've done a little sort of more of a course if you want to have the videos without ads, and I put the posters in there as well. And that's at genkijapanese.com. So you go to genkijapanese.com and you can get that. I think it's $30 or something like that. And then there's my hiragana workbook and katakana workbook. So these are really good because the posters are really good if you can put them around your house. So you can put them in different places. And then every morning you can just read them and start practicing them there. And especially if you look from a distance, so you can't read the English, you can only see the Japanese. It's like pretty cool. That's a good thing. So putting posters up around your wall helps as well. But the main thing is getting lots of high quality input and then getting lots of high quality output speaking to Japanese people. Does that make sense? Cool. If any of you are watching live, if you've got questions, let me know and I'll try and answer some of them. And I say there's a new song coming up this afternoon for Japanese food, and a few of you asked for requests for other Japanese songs as well, other language points you want to cover. I think we've covered everything in the songs that I've got on here now. Like we've got weather and food and numbers and greetings and basic restaurant stuff and things like that. But if there is any other Japanese songs you'd like me to write, let me know, and I can try and write them for you. It's actually a little bit easier now because it's easier to do the graphics than it used to be a long time ago when I used to have to handwrite them all. Now we can, it's a little bit easier doing some of the graphic stuff. So I can hopefully do some more songs for you. And the cool thing about Japanese as well is, well, it's actually one of the best languages to learn for a few different reasons. One of them is you can actually have conversations in Japanese with just one word. Like if you're talking with your friends, you tend not to speak in sentences, which is really cool. Because like, if you're learning English, you have to, so in Japanese, you can just say, genki, genki, iko, doko, asoko, itsu, ima, iko. It's just word, word, word. Whereas in English, it would have to be like, so how are you today? Oh, I'm not too bad, thanks. Yeah, what are we doing now? Oh, we're going to go somewhere. Where should we go then? I don't know. Where would you like to go? It's like, but in Japanese, it's really, really simple. It's just like one word things. Like, how are you? It's just genki, like genki. So actually, genki means fun, energetic, and full of life is what we try to do. So when we're teaching kids, in schools and stuff, if everyone's genki, it's awesome, having a great time. If people are not very genki, it's like, ooh. If you're a little bit older, we say if you have 2 pints of beer, you're feeling genki. If you have 10, you're not very genki. But it also means how are you? So I'm saying genki, genki desu yo, okage-sama de. And also it's got deep philosophical meaning as well. Like the ki is your internal energy. It's the force in Star Wars, or chi in Chinese. Yeah, so it's your internal energy. Is genkiness. Yeah, but anyway. Let's get back to it. It just means how are you? So you can say that, and you say iko just means shall we go? And it's like say iko, like go. Yeah, and then you say itsu, when. You don't have to say when do we have to go. You say itsu, ima, now. Jaiko, you can actually speak in just individual words in Japanese, which is really, really useful because you don't need full sentences. And a lot of it then is your intonation, which you always get from watching TV and things like that. And the other thing is, there's not, you don't tend to talk about a lot of different things in Japan. Like Japanese people love food, so they will talk about food all day long. Whenever you go on holiday, it's food. Like we're planning a trip just back to Japan next month, or next week, no, 2 weeks time, or a few weeks time, if everything's okay with flights. Crazy world at the minute. Yeah, we're planning it out. We're planning our trip just like Japanese people do, by what food we're going to eat. So it's like first meal sushi, then we're going to go for ramen, and then we're going to go for we're going to get some onigiri along the way, and then we're going to have some sukiyaki, and then we're going to have tabihoda yakiniku and all this sort of stuff. So if you can learn the phrases that are in the Genki Japan program, I mean, I say the guarantee is that if you learn the songs on the channel here, yeah, you will have Japanese people saying to you how good your Japanese is. They will all go, "Nihongo jouzou desu ne." Now, to be fair, if you say hello in a konnichiwa in a regular accent, they'll probably say that to you anyway. But you don't actually have to learn that much to be able to communicate and get along in Japan and have a much better experience when you're there, whether you're working there like I used to do, or whether you're just visiting or whatever. And just a little bit of Japanese goes a long way. Certainly a lot more than, say, France, where you can, if you just try speaking a few words of French, they'll be like, oh, and like trying to correct you and stuff and flipping to English. Whereas in Japan, most people will love to speak Japanese and really appreciate the effort. So, lots and lots of input, high quality input. Play the songs here around and around and around and around and around and around and around. And then output is getting some online communities with Japanese people and just offer to do half and half language exchange, where you speak half English with them. You speak English for the first half an hour and then Japanese for the second half an hour. Does that make sense? Is that going to help it? Yeah, cool. Now, if you want to go more advanced than things in Japanese, then it's exactly the same thing. It's just input and output. As your level gets higher, you can have higher level input. So, for example, like book summaries or real books can really help. And then you just talk about more subjects. You just get offered to do presentations. Like I did my TEDx talk. I did it in Japan. At the end of the day, we actually ended up doing it in English, but quite a bit of it was in Japanese as well. So you just level up what you're doing, but it's always input and output. And the input is at the level you're at, plus just a little bit. And then the output is just the maximum you can. And as I say, if you're talking with a real Japanese person, it's really easy to get all the feedback and things like that. And then around your house, put up all the posters and stuff so you can do it. And the mindset. So the mindset is the main thing, okay? So whenever we do workshops in Japan, we use the word dekiru, and dekiru is the Japanese word for I can. And we say whenever we do big workshops and stuff, we just get everybody to say the mindset is the main thing. Dekiru, 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 tomoeba, dekiru. If you think the opposite, which is dekinai tomoeba nani mo dekinai, you can't do anything at all. But if you always think to yourself, dekiru, 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 you can do it. You can keep going forward and keep going forward and keep going forward. Remember, the journey starts with one step, and it's just a case of one step and the next step and the next step and the next step, and just keep going forward a little bit each day, and then keep that genkiness, keep that energy going. And you'll enjoy it and just have a really positive time with it. Everyone in Japan, it's 99.9% of people are totally amazing, and they'll really support you and they'll really help you and stuff. So you have this positive attitude of dekiru, dekiru, dekiru. You've got this genkiness, this energy, plus you learn a few words from the songs on the channel here. You're going to have a fantastic time. It's going to be really cool. And of course, we're all here to help you as well. If you've got requests for new songs, let me know. There's a new song coming up in about an hour's time, so check that out. Tell your friends about the channel and stuff, and hopefully I can make some more things for you, because it is, it's really cool to be able to speak another language. It really improves your English, because it improves your own language if you can speak another language. It's great for your brain because it activates different parts of your brain. It's cool when you can go to a place and communicate. And you also have this thing in Japan of like kuki o yomiru, which is like, Eigo shabaranai to kuki yomenai, Nihongo shabaranai to kuki yomenai, which means like you read the air. So like if you don't speak the language, you can't really tell what people are saying. The translations don't always work. But if you can hear the actual words, you can actually tell what people are saying, and more importantly, what they're thinking. Because remember, words don't always mean exactly what the translation is. Yeah, and you learn, and learning a Japanese way of thinking is really, really cool. You're learning things like kaizen, improvement day by day, kintsugi, which is if you break something, you make a feature of that and rebuild it up again. And there's lots of great ways of thinking in Japan that are really, really useful as well. Wabi sabi and all that stuff, as well as being Genki. So if you want to check out, there's a website at genkijapan.net that just has the songs on there. Or if you go to genkijapanese.com, then we have the actual course if you want to buy the posters as well. Or all the songs are free on the channel here as well, so check those out. Awesome. So I'm Richard from Genki English and genkijapan.net. Wishing you well. Remember, dekiru, dekiru, dekiru tomoeba, dekiru. I'll catch you later.